Okay, greetings fellow game changers. This is Rich checking in again, aka the game changer, I guess, whatever one. But if you're watching here, you're interested in doing change games, etc. Anyhow, I ponder, do a philosophy, so I just was doing one of these philosophy videos away from content. There could be a discussion, so in the comments below, discuss this here. Thinking of the concept of comfort games. And I'm actually looking at the Bane side, or the annoyance side of it, the problem side of it here. Mind you, they're fine. Typically, there are things like comfort food that you have memories of, that you can go back. It's something you can just go play, typically from a game perspective. Nostalgia, the whole retro thing's driven by that. Something you can go and just veg out and play because you're so used to it. I mean, for me, I like Puerto Rico, the board game would fit like this. What description you have like this here. Well, it kind of fits like an old sweater that you're used to. Mule would be another game I had here. I've fallen into Minecraft that way. No Man's Sky. Say Diablo can somehow fit into that, but other things here. But some games, some multiplayer games could fit in that too. There, I mean, myself, I had Free Cell would be something to go to. You know, it's where you go like de-stress. So, what I do is below, we'll ask you to give some thoughts on this, of what are some of your comfort games if you listen through it anyhow. This is a rock, paper, shotgun article. I needed a placeholder to talk, and this is one article talking about it. So anyhow, I had a bit with No Man's Sky. That's something I could go back to if I wanted to play or something, but I'm currently between them. But, you know, just simply rogue hack game like Diablo or something else is something I'll go through. A Civ with the random amount where you just play somewhat strategy game where I set the lower complexity and it just feels smart that I play where I build something else, you know, like a Sim City game. Stuff like that would have go to. They're just comfortable. Anyhow, there's a place for it in life if you want to go do that there. However, if you're interested in changing games and everything else, when this becomes a predominant thing that you see that drives a certain area, and it's a challenge I have to go against here, like the chess player only wants to play chess and doesn't want to do anything else, or somebody else. These classic games you go across and people don't want to play them differently. When you have that don't want to change things and you're just playing for strictly comfort and don't want any variety, like you play chess, you're so used to it, and if I mix things up, you get a discomfort. Reminds me of one time, it's a problem. Anyhow, as I said, it reminds me of one time. I remember one time I was playing around with like Forerunner to the stuff I'm doing with the you know, the integration of chess, and I was just mixing places, and you got in and like, this doesn't feel comfortable at all. So change and having new patterns in the mind can be uncomfortable. So therefore, somebody who might have limited time will go in and go to that. The retreat towards retro is a lot of that. So for myself, I see it's a form that you can reuse and go do different stuff off, like Shovel Knight, do a classic take on it. The thing about these old patterns is that what happens here is that it's very hard to get absolutely perfect emulation. And I think if you're going to get that hung up on it, you're going to end up being disappointed and being miserable. It was like the Retrobit generations and the emulation being off and like R-Type being too fast or something, which seemed to be a thing. But if you're a purist, you end up, because you have that whole, I would say the whole comfort game thing, because of that there, you end up being miserable and it generates complaints. So it's really hard to get changed. So this is one of the uphill battles I have if you want to do game changing, particularly with classic games and stuff. It's an issue. By the way, this is a rock, paper, shotgun article from 2014, but it's something I grabbed there. And probably make a point there that for somebody, Doom could be a comfort game or something else here. So anyhow, what we're doing here is that I challenge the convention with this here. For this, there's an aspect of comfort games to it, but I really want to have a different perspective on it, and it's just a challenge. You can still play games, comfort games, but I think if the main draw is comfort games, you're not going to get change here, and it ends up being nostalgia and isn't living. But that's my take. You can decompress whatever you want, do whatever you want here. Go back to Unreal Tournament, go back to the classic. But I really think in the classics, with some polish, you can get something new, which is interesting. And by the way, for me, because I'm drawn to the new, if anybody remembers the arcades, for me, the comfort game feel is actually seeing a new game. If you remember the arcades, if you remember going back in that day and the sheer magic, you'd see kicks, or you'd see something else here. I'd go in an arcade and I would see Donkey Kong Jr., and what is this Donkey Kong thing? You'd see Joust. It's just sheer magic. For me, I take comfort in the new. Of course, on the board game side, you talk about the cult of the new, which is these games here that everybody has to play something new. So the comfort game is kind of the opposite of it here. So anyhow, it's a challenge which I have. I would like people who take comfort in trying new stuff out, and actually, for me, it's to actually have the classic stuff that you have, but have it delight and new and surprise. And if you can combine that with having this feeling of comfort, because you can relate, it's good. And that's why you can say, from the one perspective I have, you want to mix old and new, to take a classic game and do a twist on it somehow that's comfortable but new. It opens up new worlds, but also gives you a point of reference, which I think is the main comfort food. So, I mean, my main point of like a comfort game. So it'd be kind of like take your comfort food or something else and introduce something different, you know, which I did when anyhow, not going to go there, something else. So anyhow, I'm going to close by asking, what are your thoughts on comfort games? Do you have any favorites? Do you have any comment there? What is your take on it? Are there certain things that you always return back to, or have you gotten bored and wore it out? Myself, I had like No Man's Sky. I'm just too blasted busy. I want to do videos here and trying to connect with people. I just don't have time to go back to it. But I had a nice, for me, a nice comfortable feeling. Go ahead and do the mining and exploring and do it at your own pacing. But those are my thoughts. So what are your thoughts on comfort games? Please post some comments below. And whatever you're going to do, subscribe, what I was going to do. So I'm out. We'll be getting to some other videos here. I have an extra long weekend coming up, so I don't promise videos every day, but I have some other stuff I'm going to do. I had a little bit of time now, so I figured I'd crank out a video. This is a thought that's been on my mind. Feel free to post your thoughts on comfort games as they relate to retro and the stuff here and doing things in your thoughts. So let's have a conversation below. So I'm out. Pardon if I'm rambled a bit, but I had some notes, and now I've gone way off my notes. So anyhow, so I'm out. So I do want to thank you for your time and listening here. May your die always roll 5, and remember, don't hate the player, change the game. So share your thoughts here. I'm out. Take care. Have a good evening, and we'll get some other stuff here sometime in a while. Okay, I'm out. Bye.